Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Partha Banerjee speaking from Brooklyn, New York. Uh, I want to invite you all to join this conversation. This is going to be a short discussion. In less than 2 weeks, uh, we, the people here in America, are going to elect a new president. Um, and this election is going to be extremely critical, uh, not just for America, but really for the world. So that is why we need to understand what exactly is going on and what is the difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, uh, and why we must uh, defeat uh, Trump in this election. I have, this is my uh, very quick illustration of Trump, and that is how I actually see him. He has a lot of resemblance with many other infamous dictators in the world, all across the globe. And if we follow his plans and programs and the way he speaks and his body language and some of the things that he has already said, especially in recent days, these are things that should make us extremely, extremely alarmed and scared and worried, because this man really does not believe in democracy. Uh, he is really an authoritarian type of a person. He uses extremely obnoxious language. He's has shown his racism many times. All these years, he has shown his disdain for the minorities, blacks and immigrants and people like us, the so-called successful immigrants, but with a different accent, a different kind of a name, different kind of a religion, a lifestyle, and he has a complete disdain for all of us. Many people simply do not understand it. I have spoken with many Indians and Indian Americans, and some of them simply do not have any idea how dangerous this man is. And I'm especially uh, um, uh, inviting some of the students that I have taught all these years here in America, uh, both like traditional college students where I have taught for many years, and then for the final 14 seasons before I took a voluntary retirement, I actually taught one of the largest labor unions in New York, and I had some 30,000 plus union workers who were my students, and I have taught them on many different things year after year. And I invite you all to be a part of this conversation. I'm going to save this on my YouTube channel after this talk is over, this chat is over. And just go to youtube.com and then just look up my name, Dr. Partha Banerjee or Partha Banerjee, uh, and then you should be able to find it very easily. I have saved all my discussions, all my classes uh, at that link, at that channel. So without further ado, I just want to tell you, uh, very quickly summarize some of the main differences between, like what Republicans stand for and what Democrats stand for. By the way, I'm not a blind supporter of the Democratic Party, because they have done many things in the past, especially during the past few months of over a year, and I'm extremely, extremely disturbed about it. But and they are also a part of the corporatism the income and wealth disparity in America. They are also responsible for many other ills here in America, and they have taken advantage of people's faith in them, working people's faith in them, and really did not do much for them after coming to power. So I have had my serious reservations about them. That said, I think that this election in November 2024, the 5th of November 2024, is so extremely critical that right now we have no choice but to vote for Kamala Harris, a Democratic Party, the Harris Walz ticket, and then vote down and defeat Trump resoundingly, so that there is a very clear and strong message, not just here in America, but across the world, that America does not want to go back to the dark days of racism, sexism, uh, um, internal repression, police brutality, violence, and so on and so forth. And this man in particular is somebody who, during his first term, destroyed, like democracy and diversity and free speech here in America. He actually destroyed the American healthcare system, and so many innocent people here in the United States of America died of COVID because he did not take any action. He's a guy who does not believe in science. He just believes in himself, is an extremely obnoxiously narcissistic person who only cares for himself. And very recently, as a matter of fact, yesterday or today, uh, his previous general, chief of staff, John Kelly, who actually worked for Trump, said that he has said things that are extremely, extremely alarming. For example, he said that he needs a general who would work like the generals that Hitler had. He actually invoked the name of Adolf Hitler, the guy who killed millions of innocent people and basically destroyed the entire world. We all know the history, and we do not want to go back to those days. The difference between, and some similarities also, I have actually tried to um, very quickly summarize it here. If you can see it, Dems on this side, the uh, the left hand side column, I have put war and global violence, and also on the Republican column, I put war and fascism. The war and violence is, in my opinion, is not going to stop quickly. Even if Kamala Harris becomes the president, let's face it, and we who do not believe in war and violence, we are fighting back against it. I am involved with the peace movement, and I for sure is not. We are not going to, tolerate, this type of an ongoing saga of American war and violence all over the world. From that point of view, there is not going to be much difference between the two parties. But Trump is fascist, and he is somebody, just like I said just 2 seconds ago, that he invoked Hitler. And like many people say that his past deeds and actions actually remind us of white supremacists, and the way they uh, killed and lynched and enslaved African Americans in this country. And this guy actually always talks in a way that reminds us uh, how racist he always has been. And then we all know his uh, misogynistic uh, actions, and some of the things that he has done. I mean, I am embarrassed to say that this man has actually become America's president at least for 4 years. This is like a very, very embarrassing matter personally to me, and I know, for that matter, to many, many, many millions of Americans, who are completely embarrassed that this man especially for women. I think he is like a sheer embarrassment. And I'm sure that the young generation people, women, and immigrants and minorities in particular are not going to vote for him. I hope they do not vote for him, and I implore that they do not vote for him. And let's look at some of the other differences that these two parties have. One thing is gun control. Democrats are, at least, like, I don't know how serious they are, but at least they talk about gun control and gun violence here in America that are taking so many lives, including lives of innocent children. Then, in on the Republican side, we have no gun control. They actually do not want any gun control at all. They are basically, like, completely sponsored by National Rifle Association and organizations like that. Uh, we all know about Trump's disdain for democracy and how he has repeatedly said that, like, mm, if he becomes president one more time, then basically this is going to be the end of democracy as we know it. There's not going to be any more elections, things like that. And then he, like, denied that, but he actually said that on record, and we have heard those things many many times. Um, he does not believe that climate change is real. He's completely, like a corporate America's guy, and he's going to destroy any climate regulations. He's going to destroy all the good things that happened over the years, to at least to like control, regulate the out of control climate destruction. And I know for the fact that he's a guy who is going to destroy the climate once and for all. And uh, he's going to, like, give give out big, like um, uh, like total giveaway to corporate America when it comes to the oil industry, the gas industry, and all these different, mining industry, and all that, the industries that are responsible for the temperature rise and climate change and global warming. He is going to scale back drastically on the regulations that the American government and people and activists together were able to bring together. He's going to destroy it all. And then, like, uh, I don't know, the immigration system, he's like puts false blame on poor immigrants. And like these fascist parties, whether it is India, whether it's in America, whether it's in Sweden, in France, or any other place, they always find a group of people, poor people, innocent people, hardworking people, that they can put their blames on, just like the way Hitler, created, it's like Jews were targets of his wrath, his violence, and we all know what happened back then. And the same way in India, there is extreme Islamophobia, and here in America, new immigrants, poor immigrants, undocumented immigrants are the new enemies. So we have to be very, very careful about that. And he is going to, like, cause havoc if he comes back to power on those poor immigrants. I myself came from India a long time ago. I am a first generation American. I know the struggles and the pains and predicaments that new immigrants go through living in this country, socially, economically, from all different points of view. And I know how poor immigrants make ends meet. To call them enemies, to call them criminals, is anything but true. There is some, I've already talked about racism and sexism. In a democratic government. There is at least some hope for race equality and gender equality, and like if Trump becomes the president, then all those things will be completely gone. And then we all know how his nominated judges helped to overturn Roe v. Wade, and the women's uh, uh, choice, how they uh, choose to live their lives, their choice over their own bodies. Those all those fundamental human rights will be taken away. All these things cumulatively tell me that sure, Democratic Party is no angel, and they have done many bad things, especially war and violence all over the world, and especially now what's going on in Israel and the Middle East. We all know that. But if we can elect a Democratic Party president, there is at least some hope that the progressive forces from within the party, the anti war movement, the anti gun movement, uh, the gender equality movement, uh, Black Lives Matter movement, Me Too movement, all these groups and their elected politicians will be able to bring about some positive changes in the coming future. But if Trump becomes the president, all those things will be completely gone, and America will go back to the dark days when uh, people's lives were basically plaything, and that is not what we want. And particularly Donald Trump, is not just the Republican Party. We have seen George Bush, we have seen his father, we have seen Ronald Reagan. When I came to this country back in 1985, Ronald Reagan was a Republican president. Before that, we have seen other Republican presidents. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican president. Uh, Dwight Eisenhower was a Republican president, but this man is really, as I call it, the end of civilization kind of a man, and we do not want him to come back to power at all. Please think about it. Labor union will be completely destroyed. These people do not believe in labor rights. They do not believe in equal rights. They do not believe in any kind of modernity and scientific progress. And we do not ever and want to bring these people back to power. Particularly, we do not want to bring back Donald Trump to power. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and you can put your questions and comments and everything there. Thanks for listening.